Welcome back to the channel. If you're watching this, likely there's a very good chance you're thinking about becoming a commercial lender yourself. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Zevi Shafran. I'm the owner of a company called Loanbrook. We're both a residential and commercial lending shop in Los Angeles. And I'm also the creator of the Part-Time Commercial Lender Academy, a program that I launched last year. It's been super successful. Very happy about it. A lot of people have posted some very nice reviews, so thank you for that. In this video, what I want to go through is the fact that I've actually chiseled out all the forms from the Academy and I made them available for you via link in the description of this video. And what I actually want to do is go through that with you, kind of let you know what is included. If you're somebody who is thinking about becoming a commercial lender, then I do think you should definitely check out the Part-Time Commercial Lender Academy, which is a very simple to follow roadmap to a very complicated commercial transaction. But I made it so dummy proof that anyone can plug and play into the modules, have my proprietary forms available for you. Well over 10 years of work that is available to white label in the name of your company. So if you're interested in that, check out the link in the description. Now to get started, what I want to do is go through the forms with you. All the forms are available in one bundle if you wanted to just buy a single download, but they are actually also available for you separately. And it starts with an apartment cash flow analyzer. And what this one is, you being able to cash flow any apartment deal. So typically you have income and expenses, and that basically brings it to something called an NOI, which is a net operating income, over something called a debt coverage ratio. So basically what the form does is allows you to understand what would be the maximum amount of loan that you can get on any particular apartment building transaction. It basically breaks down the transaction for you in minutes, so you don't have to spend a whole lot of time trying to figure out what would be the maximum loan amount that I could possibly generate on this particular project or any particular multifamily project. It's quite amazing. Before you start any transaction, you do need to sign authorization, and those authorizations basically give you the permission to be able to share information with third parties. And so it's very, very important to do that. I've actually had buyers in the past, ironically, come back and say, hey, did I authorize you to share my information? And then I would automatically send to them a copy of the authorization that they signed. So that not only keeps you compliant, but keeps you very safe from, the world itself. God knows, right? Lots of people out there. Broker demand and wiring instructions. When you're in a transaction, a lot of times when you request certain level of commissions, the escrow company would want to know that it was authorized. So in the package of forms, you're going to find both a broker demand and wiring instructions that you could actually provide to the closing agent, whomever they may be, whether it's an escrow company, an attorney's office, title company, that you actually have those documents available for you. Then we have a business debt schedule. So every single business out there needs to basically disclose if they have any type of debt, so it could be listed on their application. Because typically you're not going to find that in the loan application, but it does need to be listed as a liability so the deal could be sized up correctly. Very important to have that. It's available for you as a white label document. Also, the most important form of the transaction is the commercial loan application. Another form that is going to be available for you to put in the name of your company. Document workflow. So basically, you're going to need to understand what documents are needed in what folders they need to be put in. It's very important to not only have this document, but over time memorize the structure, because ultimately what you would learn is that the transaction falls into assets, credit, income, and then you have disclosures and you have escrow. You also have appraisal. And literally, these are buckets that you could literally just memorize. And as you're having a conversation with somebody, you already know, yeah, well, there's an asset bucket, which is basically a folder. There's an income, and then there's credit. So it kind of by memorizing them, you can kind of go back to having these conversations with your borrowers and not forget to talk about any of that, just knowing that these documents go into these particular buckets. Exclusivity and fee agreement. So basically, when you draft up terms, you're going to have something called an LOI, which is a letter of interest, letter of intent. And then that's going to list all the terms of the actual transaction, and the borrower is going to sign that, which removes the he said, she said from the transaction. Whereas if something is different today than it is on the day that you're closing, you can always go back to the term sheet and the letter of interest, and they sign the bottom of it, and you'd be like, see, you actually signed these terms, nothing really has changed. Or if it did change, then you should put it in writing, all right? In addition to it, you have a second form that is an exclusivity agreement that allows you to perform on a transaction for X amount of days, meaning that if your borrower circumvents you, they owe you a commission. Loan proposals are something that when you're competing for business, when you're meeting clients for the first time, you want to set your best foot forward, right? And they're going to say, okay, send me your proposal. There's two types of proposals available within the academy that you could, again, white label to the name of your company, and you could list all the terms which are preliminary. It doesn't need to be the actual terms of an LOI, just a verbal that you got from the bank, the fund, the debt fund, and you can list them, send them out for the borrower to review before you actually initiate the transaction. It's a very professional way to be able to take your first steps in the transaction. NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement. If you're dealing with high net worth individuals, a lot of times you don't want the lender or whomever it is you're sharing it with to necessarily, while they're looking at it, they may or may not be able to do the deal, especially if it's a private lender. So you may have them sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, to make sure that these documents are not shared with anybody else outside the circle. A lot of times lenders would not be able to do a deal. They're going to literally show it to somebody else who might be able to do it, and then in hopes that if they fund it, they'll give them something for it. So that's another way to protect yourself. There's a milestone invoice in there. When we go through different milestones in the transaction, the idea is to be able to pick up a milestone payment. So for some crazy reason, if you get towards the finish line, the whole deal falls apart, you worked on it for 2 months, it hurts if you haven't picked up any type of compensation in the transaction. That's what we're trying to avoid. And so that would be one way to do it. There is a profit and loss statement and a rent roll that are a part of the forms in the academy. And so basically, any type of transaction is going to have income and expense. And that's basically how you size up a deal, whether it's for a business or for an apartment building. You're always going to look at the income and the expense, and then you're either going to have net profit or an NOI, net operating income, and then you underwrite to that at 1.25%, which is not necessarily something you're going to need to figure out, because there's a ton of support and somebody else is going to do that work for you. And I'm going to show you how to do that in the academy. So if you're interested in picking up the forms, the link is available for you in the description of this video. If you're interested to learn more about the academy, super simple concept where somebody else does 90% of the work for you and you earn the commission, then the link is also available for you in the description of this video. As always, I appreciate you guys being here. And if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button so other people like yourself who are looking for this information can find it on YouTube. Otherwise, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for watching this. If you like my videos, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, I hope to see you again on my next video. Thank you for watching. Take care.